The ballroom glittered with crystal chandeliers and champagne glasses as Manhattan's elite celebrated the opening of Thompson Holdings' new skyscraper. Suddenly, the room froze when a crystal tray slipped from the hands of Kesha Williams, a 35-year-old contract cleaner, shattering loudly against a marble floor. From the center of the hall, William Thompson III, drunk and brimming with arrogance, raised his glass and sneered, "If you dance this waltz, I'll marry my son to you." Laughter rippled across the hall. His son, Jonathan, whispered, "Dad, you're being ridiculous." But William ignored him, turning Kesha's mistake into cruel entertainment. Kesha, still kneeling on the floor, picked up shards with trembling hands. Yet her eyes showed no fear, only a calm intensity. Then, rising slowly, she said in a voice that silenced the room, "I accept." William's drunken smirk widened. "Very well. If you dance better than my wife, I'll keep my word." From the crowd, Victoria Thompson, William's elegant but venomous wife, stepped forward. She was known in high society for teaching ballroom dance to the elite. "Do you really expect me to compete with this?" she scoffed, gesturing at Kesha. "Of course," William replied. "You won a ballroom trophy last year. Surely you can handle this." Whispers and laughter spread through the guests. Bets began. William raised the stakes. $500 she trips before the end. $1 says she runs out humiliated. Kesha stood tall, unfazed. Her calmness unsettled some in the crowd. For deep within, she was not just a cleaner. She was Kesha Maro, once a principal dancer at the American National Ballet, a legend believed lost after a car accident shattered her career. As William fueled the cruelty, Kesha recalled the night everything had changed. 15 years ago, she had soared across the world's greatest stages, hailed as one of the finest ballerinas of her generation. But one tragic night, a crash after a gala performance, left her in a coma for 3 months. Doctors told her she'd be lucky to walk again, let alone dance. Since then, she had lived in obscurity, working humble jobs to survive. No one knew the truth, until now. Then a quiet voice whispered at her side, "Marcus, the building's head of security, lean close." "I remember you," he said softly. "I saw you dance at the National Theater. Kesha Maro." Her secret identity was uncovered. Marcus added, "If you go through with this, I'll record everything. They need to see the truth." Kesha smiled faintly. "Good, because tonight they'll learn the cost of underestimating me." The DJ played a waltz. Victoria stepped onto the floor first, twirling gracefully but predictably. Her technique was neat but shallow, polished moves bought with wealth, not earned through pain. The crowd clapped politely. Then Kesha walked forward. Her presence alone quieted the room. Asked what music she wanted, she said simply, "The same one, from the beginning." The song restarted. For a breathless moment, she stood still. Then she moved, and the world changed. Her steps were not hesitant but precise, flowing with elegance and fire. She fused the discipline of classical ballet with the rhythm of the waltz, creating something breathtaking. Pirouettes spun like poetry. A grand jeté lifted her into the air as if gravity had loosened its hold. Gasps spread across the hall. Whispers turned to stunned silence. Even William's drunken grin faded as he muttered, "Impossible! Who the hell is this woman?" As the final notes rang out, Kesha finished in a powerful pose, her head high, breathing steady. The room erupted in thunderous applause. For the first time in decades, the ballroom felt like a theater witnessing greatness. Marcus stepped forward, recording still in hand. "Ladies and gentlemen, you've just seen Kesha Maro, once principal soloist of the American National Ballet." Gasps filled the room. A patron of the arts cried out, "Of course, I recognize her signature sequence." "Impossible," Victoria stammered. "She's supposed to be dead or crippled." Kesha smiled. "As you can see, the rumors of my death were exaggerated." The revelation spread like fire. William stood pale, realizing the enormity of his mistake. Marcus replayed William's words on his phone for all to hear. The insults, the wager, the promise to marry his son to Kesha if she danced better than his wife. The crowd gasped again. William, sweating, roared. That was a joke. Blackmail. No, Kesha said calmly. That's accountability. You made a bet. Everyone here heard it. Jonathan stepped forward, looking at his father with quiet resolve. Miss Maro, I would be honored to fulfill my father's promise. Not because I'm forced, but because I respect your courage. The room held its breath. William shouted, If you do this, you're out of family. Jonathan met his gaze. So be it. Integrity matters more than money. He offered his hand to Kesha. The crowd erupted in cheers. Kesha, however, shook her head gently. I'll accept dinner, Jonathan, but not marriage. That's something two people choose freely, not through arrogance and prejudice. The applause thundered again, this time not just for her artistry, but for her dignity. By the next morning, Marcus's video had gone viral worldwide. Headlines screamed, Millionaire humiliated by legendary ballerina. Thompson Holdings lost millions in contracts overnight. The board forced William to resign. Victoria fled to Europe, filing for divorce. William, stripped of power, faded into obscurity. Meanwhile, Kesha was reborn. Ballet companies begged her to choreograph. Lincoln Center offered her a stage. Hollywood producers wanted her story. Yet the offer that touched her most came from children at the community school where she had once taught. They scraped together $23, begging her to return. 6 months later, the Kesha Maro Center for the Arts opened in Manhattan, funded by donations pouring in from around the world. Jonathan became its first benefactor, dedicating his career to social responsibility. Watching her new students laugh as they learned their first dance steps, Marcus said quietly, You didn't just defeat prejudice. You taught the world what true nobility looks like. Kesha smiled. Sometimes we must lose everything to discover who we really are. And sometimes others must lose everything to learn who they should never have been. Jonathan arrived with flowers, asking, Dinner? Kesha took his arm. Dinner? Her revenge wasn't William's destruction. It was creating beauty, dignity, and hope where cruelty had tried to crush her.